मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। थैंक यू ऑल वेरी मच। हरि बोल। Meera and Aditi are looking very blissful. Yes, thank you all very much. Yes, all of you. So whoever, of course, as I mentioned, whoever can keep your video on, please do so. So we are discussing the 10th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we have been discussing again and again, the 9th and the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita are especially significant because they reveal the heart of the Lord. And they are situated right in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord is revealing the innermost wisdom. The topmost wisdom. In fact, the 9th chapter begins by saying Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, the topmost secret. We discussed quite elaborately earlier as well why the topmost secret, why it is secret if there are millions and millions of copies of Bhagavad Gita distributed all over the world. It is a secret because even after the verses being open source, in the sense that everyone can read the verses and understand, but to properly compile and draw the right meaning from the code is possible only through parampara. Otherwise, one will end up with a conclusion which is different from what the original author, Lord Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, actually intends. And that is why Krishna, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, repeatedly tells Arjuna, in different ways, in different words, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, wherever special knowledge, especially secret knowledge is revealed, he says, I am telling you this because you are my devotee. I am telling you this because you are not envious of me. I am telling you this because I am your dear friend and well-wisher. At the end of the Bhagavad Gita, in fact, the Lord also says, this most secret you do not describe to those who are envious of me. Because not only will they not understand, but they will twist it, abuse it and distort it, and also offend me. So, of course, we are fortunate we are getting to hear this beautiful knowledge coming down in disciplic succession from Sri Krishna himself. And last week we discussed verses 8, 9, 10, 11, which are known as the Chatushloki of the Bhagavad Gita. The 4 verses which, in one sense, the Acharyas say, even though Krishna doesn't explicitly mention it, the Acharyas say that these 4 verses are like the heart of Bhagavad Gita. They are like the full Bhagavad Gita condensed in 4 verses, the essential message. So we discussed that, of how Krishna establishes his position. He explains the nature of his pure devotees, the interaction that he has with pure devotees, and how he's always keen to deliver those who are always engaged in his devotional service. That is Krishna's very special mercy, his very special compassion on those who are sincerely working to please Him. Sometimes some people say, oh, how can I be always connected to Krishna? It's so difficult for me to always remember Him. But we have to understand, when we are talking about always remembering Krishna, we are not talking about always remembering Krishna in the sense that you are imagining or contemplating on Krishna's form all the time. Being busily engaged in serving Krishna is also always thinking of Him. If we see that seva as being connected to Krishna, that is also absorption. And that is why Krishna asked Arjuna, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. You engage in this battle, remembering me. So seeing that connection. So when one has the right intent of serving Krishna, even one may not be always very explicitly remembering Krishna at every step of the journey, but still the whole seva is itself a wonderful absorption and a wonderful connection to the Lord. Just like a lady in the house who's engaged in cooking. Who is she cooking for? She's cooking for her family, for her husband, for her children. Maybe if the parents are there, for the parents. So that cooking is a service. I'm giving a mundane example. It is not that while cooking, at every second, every minute, she's remembering the family. My husband, I'm cooking for my husband, I'm cooking. I'm cooking for my child, I'm cooking. Taking a picture, I'm cooking for them. How many of you do like that? Swatiji is laughing. Do we keep a picture like that? And no. But deep down, isn't that the whole intent? Isn't that what is the driving force, the driving factor? Otherwise, why, without being paid, why do ladies go through so much difficulty of going through so much trouble every day, cutting, chopping in front of the fire? Deep down, what is the intent? Deep down, the intent is that of seva. So service to Krishna is something like that. It is not always possible in this world. Sometimes people think, how can I always remember Krishna? Always remembering Krishna doesn't mean on the screen of your mind you have to see Krishna like this. That may happen at a very, very advanced stage, but let's not even talk about that yet. For us, remembering Krishna always is being absorbed in his seva. It is the intent in our mind. The intent may be in the background, but the intent is driving all activities. In that way, we are always Krishna conscious. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha mayyarpita mano buddhi. If your man and buddhi is offered to me, buddhi means you have decided, I want to serve Krishna, I want to fight for Krishna. Mayyarpita mano buddhir mame vaishyatya samsaya. You will come to me without faith. So Krishna never tells anything impractical. What Krishna is instructing us is indeed very, very practical. It is very possible. If we understand Krishna's instructions in parampara, we will understand that what Krishna is saying is not actually impossible. And we can draw such parallels from our own lives. Because what is the difference between material consciousness and Krishna consciousness? The difference is not fundamentally in the activity. The activities of material life and spiritual life may externally seem similar, but it is the motivation, the intent, who is it that we are doing for, is what makes a difference. Is it directed towards pleasure and enjoyment of the self and the extended self as in the family, or is it directed towards ultimately pleasing the Supreme Lord? Of course, serving the Supreme Lord, pleasing the Supreme Lord may also include taking care of your family, and that is fine. But the ultimate objective is serving Krishna and pleasing Krishna. So one must understand this. So this is a very beautiful sequence of verses, 8 to 11. It's best that you all by heart this set of verses. aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Very beautiful. Starting from there up to 11. So having spoken these very, very beautiful verses, Arjuna is just stunned. He's so engladdened and overwhelmed by the profundity and the sweetness and the depth of the revelation that Krishna has done. Because here God is talking about himself. God is telling how he feels, how he deals, how he sees, what he thinks of devotees, how he interacts with them, how he is involved in their lives. And Krishna is so overwhelmed by realizing how loving, compassionate the Lord is. Actually, when devotees start realizing Krishna's affectionate nature, his deep love and attachment to all those, actually it is for all, but others are unable to perceive, but those who try to love him start perceiving how much he loves them. And as we start getting insights into the Lord's loving nature, even a little bit, we become shocked and surprised. It's just amazing. What we can imagine to our utmost level, Krishna is 1,000,000 times and more wonderful than that. So even the greatest of the greatest souls say that no matter how much we understand Krishna, we have not understood him, because the depth of his qualities, the depth of his sweetness, the depth of his mercy, his compassion, his love, his affection is just so unlimited. So Arjuna, being overwhelmed by this beautiful revelation, he says something very beautiful. First, he summarily describes Krishna as Krishna is described and as has been confirmed by great souls. Because Arjuna had heard this about Krishna from great souls, perfect self-realized sages like Vyasa, Narada, Asita, Devala, and so many other sages. Because this knowledge has been there, it was just lost. Krishna is just re-establishing it. But the beauty is that it is coming directly from Krishna's mouth. So let's see how Krishna describes the Lord. Very beautiful verses. It says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum, Ahustvam, Rishayas Sarve, Devarshi, Naradas Tatha, Asito, Devalo Vyasaha, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. Is exclaiming, Param Brahma, Param Dhamam, O Lord, you are the boss, you are the supreme. You are the Param Brahma, the supreme Brahman. You are the supreme abode. You are the purest of the pure. You are the supreme absolute truth. You are the supreme personality. You are eternal. You are transcendental to material nature. You are the origin of all the devatas. Adi Devam. Ajam Vibhum. Unborn. All other devatas are born. You are unborn. Vibhum, you are greatest. Nobody else is greater than you. And you just told me that this is what you are. Ahustvam. In this way, also the great rishis refer to you. Ahustvam rishayah sarve. Devarshi naradastata asito devalo vyasa. Swayam chaiva bravishimi. And now you have told me the same thing. So confirmed. Of course, when Krishna says, you don't need another person to confirm. But it is always good to reconcile three sources of truth. And this is a very important concept that we should all be familiar with. There are three sources of truth. One is Guru, one spiritual master. One is Sadhu, other saintly people, like here Arjuna is quoting Asito, Devala, Vyasa. He's quoting other sages, other authorities, other self-realized souls. And Shastra, scriptures. Of course, in this case, Krishna is Arjuna's guru. So Krishna is speaking it. Of course, Krishna in this case is speaking about himself. Because how many of us will have the fortune of God directly speaking to us? But here Guru is telling him, who's also Krishna, he is reconciling that with what the other great sages have told. And he has been familiar with what the Shastras have been saying. He's saying, yes, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, it's all reconciling. So beautifully. So with this, at this particular point, Arjuna's doubt about Krishna's personality is dispelled. Of course, he always knows Krishna is the supreme truth, but at one point, being bewildered by Krishna's desire, he lost sight of this truth, apparently, by Krishna's arrangement. Now he's essentially saying that now I understand your position very, very clearly. Also, the point is, Arjuna is not saying this just to flatter Krishna. Sometimes when we just want some business served by somebody, some people claim like that. Oh, Arjuna and Krishna are friends, so Arjuna is just flattering, oh, you are God, you are the greatest, you are this, you are that. But Arjuna is saying, no, it's not just you who are telling me this, but the great sages. Vyasa, who's the compiler of all the Vedas, he's saying that. Narada, who's considered the topmost sage, he's the sage even of the devatas. Even devatas learn Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita from him. He is saying, Devala, Vyasa, these are all self-realized great sages. All of them are saying this. So I am accepting this as it is. So this is the system. One should accept the knowledge coming in parampara. If one understands the knowledge coming in parampara, then one will be confident, one is understanding the perfect truth. And because this reconciliation has been beautifully done by Arjuna, Arjuna is saying, Sarvam etad ritam manye janmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana danavaha sarve etam ritad manye. O Krishna, whatever you have explained to me, I understand you are the supreme truth, so I accept everything that you have said as the supreme absolute truth. I fully accept it. Sarvam etad ritam manye. And I also understand, Krishna, based on how you have described, that this deepest secret about you, the understanding of Krishna, this two-armed form who's standing in front of me, to be the supreme Brahman, to be the source of the devatas, to be unborn. The one who is born to Devaki is the unborn one. See, these are not easy concepts to understand. How the unborn takes birth. There's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam which says how the unborn takes birth and how he disappears. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tat tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mamiti sarjuna. Who understands the secret about my divine appearance and disappearance doesn't ever take another birth after quitting this body. So it's not easy to understand without having very deep spiritual realization achieved by the blessings of the Lord and the spiritual master. Arjuna says, Krishna, what you have explained to me, this truth about you, even the great devatas and the asuras, Vidur Devana Danava, they also cannot understand this properly. They also become bewildered about your position time to time. Sometimes Brahmaji became bewildered, at sometimes practically various devatas at different points get bewildered. Of course, because they are devatas and devotees, after a temporary bewilderment, the Lord allows them to understand. Then they come back to the recognition. Oh, I forgot, oh Lord, I am your servant, you are the master. Please forgive me. So sometimes, because the Lord is coming from the spiritual world, when he visits the universe, his incarnation, when he visits the universe, sometimes the universal lords, they may think, who's this who has come? I am the Lord here. They don't understand that he's the boss of the boss. And that is what Krishna says, that it is not possible to understand because I am the source even of the devatas and the great rishis, he has said earlier. And because I am their source, they become sometimes bewildered because they cannot understand their source. I can understand them because I have created. So again, Krishna is saying that his personality, to be understood as it is, can be achieved not simply through being good, and definitely not by those who are bad, by those who take shelter of his devotees and take to the process of devotional service. If you remember, that is what Krishna has said many times across the Bhagavad Gita. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschashmi tattvataha. Only through bhakti I can be known as I am. And Arjuna is understanding here because he's a bhakta. Start at the beginning of the chapter, Krishna says, I'm explaining this to you because you are my devotee and because you are my friend. Because if that was not so, even if Krishna explained, that person will not understand. So many people read the Gita, translate the Gita, by heart the Gita, but they still don't understand and accept Krishna as Param Brahma, Param Dhamam, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So clear, so direct. Still they are confused. Because they try with their material intelligence to reconcile and say, oh, how can this person standing on the battlefield with two arms, having this body, how can he be the absolute truth? How can he be the source of all the devatas and the source of the unlimited universes? So material logic will fail. You cannot understand these truths. That's what Krishna is saying. I can be within the universe when the universe is within me. Please understand, that is my mystic opulence. And that is his mystic opulence which he showed to his mother Yashoda when he was eating dirt on the bank of Yamuna. He said, open your mouth, show me you're eating dirt. When he opened, so the entire universe inside Krishna's mouth. And inside the mouth, within the universe, she could see earth, and on the earth she could see Vrindavan. On Vrindavan she could see Yamuna, and on the bank of the Yamuna she saw Krishna standing and herself peeping into the mouth of Krishna. And she became dizzy. Because these things you cannot comprehend. How is it possible? How can something be the source of something and be inside it simultaneously? So these things you cannot comprehend. Achintya. Achintya khalu ye bhavaha natam starkena yojayet. Our material logic cannot be applied to spiritual subject matter. Our material logic is based on material experience. Hence, it cannot be applied. This is the verdict of Shastra. And that is why knowledge must be accepted from the proper source. With material logic, we may not be able to digest it now. But if we continue with faith, as long as we are reconciling Guru, Sadhu, Shastra and accepting this knowledge after proper due deliberation of reconciling it, we accept it, practice it, the knowledge becomes realized. अथ श्री कृष्ण नामादि न भवेद ग्राह्यम इंद्रियैहि सेवोन्मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयं एव स्फुरत्यदः. Goswami says, Krishna's form, Krishna's name, pastimes, the truth about these things cannot be understood simply by learning, reading, because these are beyond material logic. How Krishna is within his name? Fully. At the same time, he's also everywhere. All these things make no logical sense to us. And we cannot comprehend it logically. In terms of 3D space-time. Because the fact is, we actually don't even understand the true nature of 3D space-time. We are actually so much deluded by the Maya energy of the world. So Rupa Goswami says, Sevon mukhe hi jivvadav. When you start serving Krishna with devotion, beginning with the tongue, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Evon mukhehi jivadau swayam eva spratyadaha. It gradually, automatically becomes revealed. These truths will become understood, not by logic, but through revelation. When the Lord becomes pleased with our loving service. When we receive the blessings of Guru and Krishna, these truths will become understood. So if you are struggling to understand all these statements, don't worry. We are all in the same boat. Don't think that I have fully reconciled it. No, it is not possible to reconcile with material intelligence. But at least with faith, we must be able to reconcile that, yes, it is perfectly true. I agree and accept. How? I cannot comprehend, because material intelligence cannot comprehend these concepts. But I will realize. And those who have realized are confirming. Asito, Devalo, Vyasa, all of them are confirming. Yes, confirming. Yes. This is the nature of the Supreme Truth. Devatas cannot understand. The demons cannot understand. Only devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord can properly understand Krishna's position. And we should also accept him as such. In 10.15, he says, Swayam evatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama bhuta bhavana bhutesha deva deva jagatpate. Oh Lord, actually it is only you who fully understand yourself by your own potency. How can we actually fathom? You are the supreme person. You are the origin, Bhuta Bhavan, of all living entities. You are the Lord, Bhutesha. You are the source of the Devatas, and you are the Lord of this entire existence. So you are only revealing this knowledge to us. Oh Krishna. So very beautifully, Arjuna accepts, confirms, glorifies the Lord, and also explains how difficult it is to fully understand the Lord. So after the end of this particular section of verses, Arjuna, he gets so excited. This beautiful description that the Lord is explaining, that he tells the Lord, last verse for today, 10.16, tells the Lord, oh Lord, you're so wonderful, you're so amazing, you're so glorious. Please tell me in detail of these divine opulences of yours, your Aishwarya, your Vibhutis, especially those Vibhutis by which you pervade this world. Because we all know God is great, but we don't have any actual conception of how God is great. So we can only appreciate God's greatness through what we see in this world, isn't it? We actually don't have any other choice. So he's saying, yes, you have your opulences. Can you explain within this world how you are manifesting your opulences in this world? So we get some idea, we cannot fully fathom, because only you know yourself, O Lord. Vaktum arhasi asheshena divyahi atma vibhutayah yabhir vibhuti bhir lokan imam tvam vyapyatishtasi, by which you are pervading this world. Vaktum arhasi, please tell us. Asheshena, in great detail. I'm very excited to hear. Tell me more, oh dear Lord. Your divine, transcendental, Atma Vibhuti, your personal opulences. How I can perceive and appreciate them in this world. So this begins another very beautiful section, which is the majority of the rest of the chapter, which goes on practically from 21st verse up to 39. Of course, before Krishna actually starts describing from 21, the first few verses before that, Krishna tells something to Arjuna, which we'll discuss next time, which essentially he says that, Arjuna, I have unlimited opulences. You're telling me describe in detail. If I describe in detail, the war will be over, the creation will be over, but my discourse will not be over. So I will just give you a sample. You are asking to drink ocean, I will give you one drop. That one drop will drown you. You don't worry. That one drop is so powerful, so huge. So now Krishna is going to give some glimpse to Arjuna. So it's a very wonderful, beautiful description for the next 10, 15 verses. So we'll discuss this next time. It's very sweet. I'll request if you can read it up front and come, that will be very nice. Okay. So my request again is, as I'm doing the classes, please also read upfront if you can. But upfront, you wouldn't know how many verses I'm covering. But if you don't do that, you can read up to the point that we have discussed, and then read the purports, because there are so many points that I'm not able to cover, because otherwise it will take too much time. So please do that. So thank you very much. I need to rush. Grantara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Jai. So I've also uploaded the Sunday class for others who are curious of what we are up to on Sunday. So for those who couldn't attend, you can have a glimpse of the sadhana and satsang, Sadachar and sadhana classes. We just began. We just had an intro class. So you have a glimpse. And after seeing that, if any of you have a change in mind and you think that it is relevant for you and helpful for you, then feel free to PM me and I will add you to the group. Okay? Anyway, the classes will be available online recorded as well. But of course, we encourage you to participate personally, because we are going to have a lot of discussion. You will also get an opportunity to clarify your doubts. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank all the devotees who made Bhadra Purnima successful by donating sets or accepting sets and worshipping them. So many devotees have done, and I have posted their names. So if I've accidentally missed someone, please forgive me. But I thank you all for your wonderful seva, and I'm sure Bhagavatam will bless you all for this wonderful seva. So my sincere thanks. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.